Hello there, good people. So there are a few things that in this QR code generator we can actually optimize. And for example, some of the things that we can do is the flow is kind of wonky, because if you're going to be generating a preview, why would you be generating a QR code? Like we can have generate a preview to actually generate your code, and then instead of the green button, the generate QR code, what we can do is we can actually say save your code, or we can do something like, yeah, we can do like save your code, and that's gonna push to our db.json file that we can read from here. And then you can download that file. So then we don't need to deal with SVGs. We can remove Cloudinary. We don't need to host anything on Cloudinary anymore then, and we can just simply use our db.json. So what we can do, for example, so for now, if you look at our flow, we initialize our class with all of these, and then we generate a QR code. We generate it as PNG, which is fine. So we will keep the PNG format, and then here we actually do upload image to Cloudinary, and then we do this chunk. So we can replace this with converting a PNG image to a base64 format. Now the base64 format, it's like if you compare the actual size with the original PNG file, it's probably like 30+% heavier, but we don't need to depend on any third parties, so we can actually just store our file. So instead of a URL to Cloudinary, we can just store the base64 decoding right there, and then we can read it in the front end. So that means also on the front end in a React app, we can optimize the this side. So then we don't really need the any SVG libraries as we use at the moment to convert our previewer, you know, from string to SVG and actually show the picture. So we don't actually need to do this. So we can just render the image and render it as I said, base64. So why don't we try it out? Okay, so for us to be able to do that, we need to do a few changes here. So we need to include require base64, and then now if we look at our flow, so we won't have the upload to Cloudinary anymore. So we will still generate a PNG. Let's see here quickly. So we will still create the actual file, and then what we will do is we will open that file like we do here, and then we will convert it into a base64 format. So okay, let's say def image to base64. We will still pass the image file name, and then we would say file dot open, and it's in QR codes, it's in image file name, like this, and then we will do something different here. So then we will say we'll do a block, because we just need to return the actual base 64 value. So we will do that, and we will say this is data, image, PNG, it's base 64. So maybe we can do it a little bit better though. Yeah. Okay. Let's grab all of this. Let's do, and then we will say so base 64 and dot strict encode 64, and now we will pass this image block, and we will say image dot read, and now we will, in return we will get this, and this will be our value that we need to get. So let's comment out oops, this version. Let's say this. So now we have image base to 64, right? But there is a catch. There is a catch here. So remember how we said the flow is wonky? So generating a preview and actually saving the data. So we need to also modify that. So then generate code will no longer exist as generate code. So what we will say here is we will say def save QR code, or we can say push QR code to DB, and that's what we're going to be using to actually save it. So then for now, what we need to do, so we're going to grab all of this, and we will cut it. So then generate preview, we will replace that one like this, and now generating preview is returning the actual image to base 64. So we don't need to store it in a variable, because the last statement in Ruby is what gets returned. So we return that, and then in our generate code, so we will remove that one. So push QR code to DB. So this one, update JSON DB. Let's see what do we have here. So we have image path. So we no longer have the image path. So the image file, we can say base 64 image, and then image here is no longer image, it is actually base 64 image. So that means that in this flow, the base 64 image is actually coming from the front end. So that means we're gonna add base 64 image here, unless we do it a little bit differently, because we already generated base 64, right? So we already generated that one here. So what we could do is generate a preview can actually let's see, generate a preview could actually generate and save it to the database. But we can add a flag. We can maybe add is visible in front end, and that can be a boolean, true, false. And then when you're generating a preview, by default it can be false. And then we're gonna generate a UID. So then maybe by UID, when you want to actually save the QR code from the front end, we can find that record by UID in our database and change the actual flag. Is it true or false? But then that's gonna complicate things because we created the record initially. So that means we need another way to keep updating the QR code encoding. So now that's gonna be a pain in the ass. So okay, so that's probably not the best approach. So what we can do is we can still pass base 64 here. And now once we have this and we used it, and we're gonna push QR code to DB. Now bear in mind, we're also gonna optimize this initialize, and we're gonna use optional arguments and not, you know, require it with keywords and stuff. But that's gonna be the next step. So for now, let's just focus on this. And even if you pass like an empty string here, it doesn't really matter at this point because we're gonna be passing it again after that. So that means for the base 64 image, we will need a writer, because we're gonna be initializing the class in our, where is it, in our create QR code. And actually it's not create QR code anymore, it's gonna be create preview. So we'll be initializing our class here, and the preview needs to return the base 64, which means we can pass. We probably, no, we actually don't need base 64 here at all, because we can just pass it down our method. Okay, so that's that one. And then push, and we're just gonna say base 64 image here, and yeah, and we're just gonna pass it as a method argument. So okay, so let's do this. So generate preview, what it does, it's creating our QR code new instance. We're generating the PNG with main color that we defined, with field color that we defined. It has the URL as the value, and we are writing stuff here. And when we initialized our class, we stored name and description, and now we have this one, and we have a new object, and then we are getting all the files from JSON. We're parsing that, and we are on shift is a method that is going to push our new record to the first position in our array of objects. And then we were going to write again all of that to JSON. So this will actually remove. Now that's probably a bad practice, because what's going to happen if you have like 10 users generating codes at the exact very same time? So that's probably going to cause some issues there. But again, there's a beauty of optimizing stuff, right? So we don't need this anymore. We can remove Cloudinary. We can remove it from there. We can also remove it from here. So okay, let's see now what do we have to change. in our front end. So front end, let's see. So what do we have? We have all QR codes, and that is all QR codes, and that's fine. Then we have create QR code. So create QR code, we gotta update this one as well. So here we have to remove the hash from the first position, from the string that we're passing, because SVG was taking arguments as values of the color without the hashtag. So if you're passing a hex value, you actually need to remove the hashtag or it's gonna fail. So we don't really need that anymore, because now we are using a PNG, and PNG is accepting normal hex values. Maybe I'll make a pull request for that. So okay, so let's see. So now we don't have title anymore. Now we have a name. So actually, let's do it here. So now we have name, and then we're initializing this with name, and we also have description. So name, description. We have main color, we have fill color, or we have URL data. Main color, fill color, URL data. And then we're generating a preview. Okay. So generate a preview. And we have all of that, and we return the base 64. Okay. So we return base 64. So now we have push QR code to DB. So now this is gonna be something. Create preview, create code. Okay, let's focus on create preview first. So create preview, let's see here, create preview. So it's not title anymore, so now it's name. So name, and then set name. So then here is also a name, title. Okay, this one is also name, and this will be your name, set name, and here we will have name, which will be a name, and then we will have description. Actually, we can just use the create QR code, so we can just use this on click. So where is the other one? Create preview. So the difference here is we will check if title, description, or URL are empty, and we're going to show the toaster and set loading to false, and then we're going to post not to create code but to create preview, and like this, and we will change this to create preview. And now let me see. So we will, what do we have in our states? Preview. So preview SVG, we won't have that anymore. Instead we will have preview PNG, and set preview PNG, and we will use, oops, use state, and we need a placeholder. So what we are going to do is we will grab one of the nicer looking codes. So let's do this one, and we will convert that one to base 64, PNG to base 64 online. Okay, so we are gonna drag this one, and this is our code. So we will use that as our default value that will show up here as a placeholder, unless I figure out, you know, like design maybe like a nicer placeholder, but for now that's gonna do the trick. And then here we don't really need this anymore. Image source preview PNG, class name image fluid, and let's see if this will actually work. Title is not defined, line 183 title, yes. So name. Do we have title anywhere? Yeah, of course we do. Name. Title anywhere? Nowhere. Okay, so we have our placeholder here, the base 64 version, and that's working. So now we can actually test out the generating preview. So generate preview, and this one we will say save QR code, because it's like, you know, different thing. So generate preview will return, let's see, what will it return? So we will not be setting an array, we will be setting a base 64 one. So let's see, if I do this, and now I'm getting an XML version, and the reason why I'm getting XML version is because I forgot to restart the server. Okay, let me just take some magic liquids. Okay, let's try this again. So generate preview, and we have our base 64 image there. So that means instead of that array, we will say set preview PNG, and that will be res.data. Okay, and then set is loading successful, and notify success. We will actually make another one. We will do here, so we will say notify preview generated QR code preview generated, and this will be, let's see what other options do we have with this toast. I think I want to use like a blue one, or you know, just like a different color. Yeah, look at those, that's pretty. Documentation and demo, let's see. So demo, that's fancy. Success warning error, default dark info. Okay, info. So it's info. Okay. So it's info, so it's dot info, and we can also use unicorns. Okay, why don't we try with a unicorn like that. Okay, so now generate preview, and instead of notifying success, we will notify preview generated. So let's try it out. So we have, okay, orange and gray. Actually, let's change this to green so it's more noticeable. And we have our QR code generated, we have our new PNG here created. So that works. Beautiful. Now let me just add a little spacing here. I'm not sure if, let's see, emoji, let's add something nice. For example, we can use maybe this one. Like, can you even see that? Let's see if you can see any of that. Yeah, you can. That's cool. I guess we can also change this in the title, because now we have, where is it? In our, yeah. So you can just use that as well. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of nicer. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So we have that, and so what is going to be the next step now? So the next step will be, okay, now we want to save this code, right? So we generated a preview, and you want to save, but let's think logically. What are we actually saving? Like, what are you saving? If you are like, you're not really saving anything, like you're just pushing it to the local database, right? So then it doesn't really make, yeah, I guess we can take this even a step further. So instead of having this like a PNG and have like a code preview, why don't we have like a CSS based QR code is going to serve as a template here, and then once we change the colors here, we can actually change at the same time colors on the PNG here, and then once you say generate QR code, we will actually replace that with the actual code and also push it to the database. Let's do that. So again, let's switch the wording. So generate, are these two exactly the same? Like, the only difference is there, that one there. Okay, so generate code, I guess we'll bring back that one to life. We will remove this old one, and we will call this generate code. So now we have push QR to DB. So push QR code to DB, and we have update JSON. So what we gotta do now is just move this here and update JSON. We don't need this method anymore, and we will say here converted image is this one, and we will do converted image, and for the naming purposes, let's do that. Also, while we're doing that, let's add a UID. So we will require secure random. I think that's the secure random. Let's see, what is it? What can we do? We can generate hex base 64 random bytes, or we can generate UIDs. So let's generate a UID. So let's do new record, and we can say UID is this, and then we just add UID. So now we have UID, we have name, description, image, and created at. Okay, so that's working. Okay, so then generating the code. Now let's restart the server, and let's try here. So again, keep in mind this is for the preview. my website link, and like this. So now what should happen is, oh, is it gonna happen? Let's see. We have create preview, so it's not create preview anymore. So it's actually a different, it's create QR code. So it's create QR code, and here we will say so now we will actually use, yeah, we will use the green one, and this one we don't even need this button anymore, which is the beauty of it. So let me see, set preview PNG. What are we doing here? We are setting the QR codes. Yeah, so we no longer need a preview. So now, because we don't need a preview excuse me, we actually don't even need these preview tools that we created here. So this button can be out because we don't need it anymore, as we will generate a preview dynamically as we change colors. Okay, so one button less. So okay, let's try this. Let's say Marco, my website link, and then we do this, and then we say generate code, and now there you go, the code has been generated. And if we inspect what we got here, so we have our UID, we have our data image as PNG, we have our description, and we have our timestamp, which is pretty accurate. And okay, so now we're not resetting the actual form, which we should do, but since we're not, let's do another one. And there is another one. And if we refresh, that works again. And if we save this one, there is our QR code again. So our logic works. Okay, so that works. Beautiful. So now let's try to figure out there you go. CSS only QR code. Okay, free, add QR code, print, create QR code reader. Okay, we don't need any of that. So let's see here. What is this? What is this guy using? Compass, box shadow, Jesus. Okay, I need is there like a PNG to CSS, image to CSS? Okay, Okay, which one did we use? That one. Drop an image here. Okay, let's see. Pure CSS. Whoa. Okay, this is not gonna happen. Okay, so let's build our own preview then. So let's see. So what do we need? We need a div. Where is that? Preview. So we have a loader, and this will be okay. QR code preview. So why don't we do this? Why don't we flip this? And let me just clean this up a little bit. So why don't we have code preview if the code is generated. So we can say, what can we say here? So we don't need preview SVG anymore. We don't need this one. We don't need logo. We have loader, and okay, all of this needs to be cleaned up a little bit. So let's think about this. So instead of having a preview as a PNG, let's say generated QR PNG, and then we can say set generated QR PNG, and we can say that's an empty string, right? So now when we generate our when we're saving our QR code, so what are we doing then? So we are saving the code, and let me see in our where is our backend? So we are generating the code, and we are returning this. So you're returning the entire JSON. But what if we don't return the entire JSON? We just call get QR codes. We just call the get QR code function here once we generate the code. So we can reuse this. Let me see. Or what if we return something like, can we return something like this? Generated QR PNG, and we say converted image, and then we say here all QR codes, and that is response dot to JSON. Maybe we need to append it to JSON as well at the bottom, but let's see. And now I need to go down and find this, and we will say generated QR PNG. If it's present, then render here something, and if it's not present, then render this. So what we will render here will actually be it will be your QR code, and then we will only render the image, and this image will not be preview, it will be generated PNG like this, and then QR code preview we'll still keep the loading, but then here we will actually, instead of doing this, we will do div style. Let me see this one. What do we get here? I guess 100% width, 100% height, 300. Background color, we will say that is the fill color, and let's close the div out. Now let's add here, let's say preview. So we'll actually add a preview there. So okay, we have that background, and if we change the background color, that actually is changing, so that works. Let's see. So what did we change now? So let's see, are we actually getting that back? And I forgot if I did this already, but it's okay if we did. So are we gonna get? We're not gonna get invalid chunk encoding. Yeah, okay. Network error, post network, no method error, byte size, array, yada yada yada. Okay. But what if you do this? Will it change anything? If we the whole hash, if we convert into JSON? Now it does work. Okay, so now what we have to do? You created the QR code. So we will, where is that? So here, save QR code. We will say set QR codes, and that will be generate. Oops, sorry, all QR codes. So res.data dot this, and we will say set preview. No, it's not preview. It's set generated QR code PNG, and we will say that is res.data dot generated PNG. So now what will happen? What will happen is we will have the codes and all of that, and that's fine. And then instead of doing another API call, we can just in response return the data that we want to render there. And in our case, that's okay, because it's a simple project, if we can call it even a project. So now we should see this QR code popping up here. We should also see this QR code preview getting replaced, and there you go. So your QR code is there, and the code is showing up here. So if I refresh, the code is still there, and the preview is now back to where it was. Okay, I think this is way better flow now. So let's see now what we're gonna do here for our preview. So the QR code, I mean, there is no way we're gonna reproduce anything that looks even close to what we have there. But what we can do instead we can add preview. Where is it? Preview. Okay, so we can actually add another div style. We can say padding, I don't know, maybe 40. We can say background color. Actually, let me see. So we have one. Okay, we can actually have a row. We have one square here, maybe like a line there, one square here, and then we repeat that below. So why don't we do that? So let's say div class name row div class name. So we need 3, and the grid is 12 columns wide. So we do 4 like this. Let's just see. Do we get that? Woohoo! What did happen here? Row, oh, our row didn't close. I see. Okay, so we have these, and that's great. And now, what if we do text center class here, and now this is all moved in the center. Okay. Now, what if we add our row column? Can we use a card? It's probably an overkill. I don't think we need a card, but we can say div style, and we can say here we want the width to be the whole parent width, and then we want the height to be maybe 40, and we can say background color is actually fill color, but then border will be maybe we do like 4 pixels solid, and then we use the main color as a border. And let's close the div here, and we have that. Now that looks really ugly, I must say. So let's increase this to maybe 10. Okay. So the 100% width, sure, I think that might work. But what if we add some padding to this? So what if we say padding is 20? Okay, that is actually looking better. And if we add padding to this one, that should put everything a little lower. Okay, that kind of looks better, and okay, definitely works. So that kind of looks okay-ish, and then we're gonna have another div here, and we will say, can we actually get away with removing these and just have padding? There we go, nice. So, and yeah, we're gonna leave this because we need it. So let's see, let's add another div style, and this one will be, let's think about this. This one will have padding of 20, margin of maybe 10, background color, this one will actually be main color, and we won't add any other Option. Whoa, that's ugly. Okay, that's not gonna work. What if we, instead of padding 20, we do, actually we just do padding maybe 10. Will that do anything? Padding 10. Yeah, it's kind of wonky. Okay, it's not gonna work. Padding 20. What if we do width is 20, height is 20? Will that do anything? Yeah, okay. But then we gotta reduce our padding of the main one. Now what if that one is lower? And there you go. Okay. So that's fine. So we have this. Now is it responsive? Nope. As you can see, that is not responsive at all. That's why we can't use these values. What if we do 400 and if we do 400? Okay, so yeah, okay. I think here is probably where we should introduce the card, class name card, because card comes class name card body like this, and we can also give it style, and we can say background color is fill color, and then we can use these to actually put inside of the card. So okay, it's kind of better looking. And let's see now. So we have that, and now if you start stretching, that is not working, and we can say then background color I have an idea. I actually have an idea. So we don't kind of need any of that. So we're gonna do that. So padding, what is this gonna be? Okay, padding 80. Okay. Padding 100. Okay, and then this one will be width of 40 and then height of 40. What if we have two? What will, oh, that's ugly. Okay, that's not gonna happen. So we have that, and what if we do here text center? Is it gonna do anything? No. As you can see, CSS sucky. Okay, so let's maybe repeat. So what's the difference here? Background color, width, height. Is there justify? Yeah, okay, justify content center. Will that work? Okay, height, width. Let's do 2020 for now, like this. And I think yeah, I'm gonna come back and actually fix this. But yeah, I think for now it will do the job. And yeah, so I guess this button can actually be a little longer, so we can add some additional classes here. We can say button large button block like that, and we can also use React icons to find maybe like a nice icon. Documentation, save, or create, maybe, no, generate, what do we have there? No. Wow, okay, let's see what do we have here. Maybe confirm. It's usually check. Okay, so check, which one do we want to do? I think this is bootstrap check. I kind of don't like it. Okay, let's do this one for now. So that's fi. So we can come here and we can find where our icons are, and we can say import, and it will be this one, from React icons fi. And then we can use that, save QR code, and we can do something like that, and there we go. Well, we can also maybe let me see. So we can have this. We can also go a step further, and we can say nah, we actually don't need to do anything there. I think this is pretty okay. So we have that's working, and that's working, and that's working, and there you go. Okay, so that's all for this video, and in the next one we will be publishing this to the DigitalOcean, and we will be doing some testing and all kinds of cool stuff. Bye.